You won't believe this little story has more surprises in store, so come along and see. The sisters were all busy as bees, except for Sweet Beth, who acted like a little angel, quietly keeping Mom's advice close. At the same time, she went full superhero, sending scarves to Grandpa Lie and webbing up food for a homeless mother and child, but ended up getting hit by the flu. Since then, she couldn't get up. With no hospitals to save lives, illness was serious. To prevent her family from catching it, the youngest Amy was sent off to her aunt's house. When Mom learned the news, she rushed back with her retired dad. Thankfully, under the careful care of her family, Beth started. At that moment, the home was filled with joy because nothing beats the happiness of a family reunion. The sisters grew up fast after facing hardships. Meg ditched her daydreams of landing a rich husband. Jo became even more resolute, vowing to wield her intellect as a weapon and carve a path through this tough world. Amy, hosted by her aunt, gradually toned down her sassy attitude and began plotting her future, ready to face any challenge head-on. Those who dare to face challenges can always discover their true selves through introspection, soaring against the wind and growing stronger. That year, Meg was about to tie the knot with the penniless John, leaving Jo in a state of panic. She simply could not bear to see her sister leave. The thought of life without Meg felt as bland as a candyless existence. On the very day when the wedding ceremony of the two individuals was taking place, Aunt furrowed her brow in seriousness. She always thought that even with love, a marriage without financial stability would be crushed under the weight of money, but Meg waved her concerns away, marrying love without hesitation. Yet, a few years later, they still found themselves struggling. She spent money meant for her husband's winter coat on a fancy, but useless piece of fabric, including money for feeding 2 kids. Meg was aware that it was wrong, yet she was truly tired of living in poverty, her heart filled with guilt and immense regret for the mistake she had committed. Luckily, her husband showed remarkable patience, willing to forego his winter coat just to make her a beautiful dress. Meg reflected on love and understanding, swearing off her troublesome vanity. Their lives may not have been glamorous, yet their love grew even deeper day by day. Watching others find love, Old Lie felt his heart stir like a flickering flame. He gazed at Jo, his mind swirling with a mixture of emotions that he yearned to express yet dared not. Emotions that were as transparent as daylight. Jo had always been an avant-garde free spirit, fiercely believing that writing was the ultimate goal in life and not letting romance or marriage get in the way of her dreams. Eventually, Lie walked away, leaving Jo feeling lost as she watched his lonely back disappear. She was unsure if holding onto her freedom was right or wrong, also oblivious to the outcome of love and loss. In her eyes, women held more importance than just beauty, and family, talent, and revenge were key, which kept her feelings buried deep. To chase her dreams, she went solo to the city, nearly betraying her own writing ambitions. Despite everything, she never gave up, resolutely forging ahead, trudging through the tight space between dreams and reality. Meanwhile, Amy, also living with her aunt, was influenced and could think of nothing but marrying into wealth. Although the one she loved was still Lie, many years had passed in a blink. Through her aunt's matchmaking, she was engaged to a well-off but family-bound noble. Yet, on the eve of their wedding, she met Lie again, who was on vacation in Europe. At this point, he seemed to have moved on from just rejection. As night descended and the lights were just lit up, Lie was completely drunk at the luxurious ball. Amy knew he harbored unresolved feelings, as he still wore the ring Jo had given him all those years ago. During Lally's toughest days, Amy constantly comforted him as a friend, which gradually blossomed into deeper affection for him. No. My feelings for Jo will never change, and I won't let anyone decide for me. I shouldn't let her control me any longer. I will love her forever. Beth, plagued by illness, stayed home to rest. As time passed, she grew weaker, ending up lying in bed. Upon hearing about her sister's illness, Jo dropped everything and rushed home, only to find Meg already by her side. Meg was exhausted from the endless work, yet stubbornly refused to leave her sister's side. Jo and Meg shared the responsibility of taking care of Beth, But unfortunately, this time Beth couldn't escape the call of in the past. Jo saw freedom pursuit as life's sole meaning, rejecting love repeatedly. Now, Beth's death has broken her seemingly invincible world, inviting loneliness. Truthfully, Jo felt confused about her own feelings, realizing that everyone else had found their homes while she was still drifting, feeling fear and loneliness. Mom advised her to follow her heart. After a moment of struggle, Jo bravely wrote a confession letter and tucked it into sweet-smelling paper from her. She eagerly awaited Liz's return, filled with anxious anticipation. When she opened her eyes again, that familiar young man truly stood before her. However, Liz said he was engaged to Amy, striking Jo like lightning, plunging her into despair. She opened her mouth to say something, but the words were swallowed by a heavy wave of sorrow. With things set in stone, she could only manage a pained smile and hurried to the woods. She ripped up her confession letter and scattered the pieces to the wind, marking the end of any chance between her and Li. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to subscribe to our channel.